On a bright and sunny morning, a cheerful little cottage was ready for another funny adventure. Muffin, the fluffy white cat, leaped onto a chair, feeling brave, proud, and ready for action. With a big smile, Muffin proudly believed today would finally be his greatest victory. But clever little Nibble appeared, holding a colorful sign with a surprising new challenge. Muffin's confident smile disappeared as his eyes grew wide with complete surprise. Pickles the duck happily blew his whistle, announcing the start of another hilarious competition. Otto the gentle turtle quietly raised his referee flag, ready to keep everything fair. The four cheerful friends gathered together, excited to discover what would happen next. Every single day, Muffin dreamed of becoming the greatest mouse catcher anyone had ever seen. But shiny objects always distracted him before his adventures could even begin. Then, a beautiful butterfly fluttered past, and Muffin couldn't resist chasing after it. A moment later, he became so dizzy chasing his own tail that everyone giggled. Nibble watched quietly, already thinking of another clever and funny game to play. Instead of hiding, Nibble loved inventing playful challenges that made everyone laugh together. Pickles proudly acted like the world's funniest sports announcer, cheering every silly moment. Meanwhile, Otto carefully kept score, smiling at every unexpected surprise along the way. In this happy house, every ordinary morning quickly became an unforgettable adventure. Today, Muffin arrived wearing an oversized detective hat, looking extra serious and confident. He proudly announced that he had finally solved the biggest mystery of them all. Nibble blinked with confusion, wondering exactly which mystery Muffin was talking about. Then Muffin realized the mouse had been standing right in front of him the whole time. The friends burst into cheerful laughter as Muffin scratched his head with an embarrassed grin. Nibble placed 3 bright and colorful envelopes onto the table with a mysterious smile. Muffin leaned closer, curious about the exciting surprises hidden inside each envelope. The very first envelope revealed a funny homework challenge that made everyone smile. The second envelope contained an even trickier challenge waiting for brave little Muffin. The final envelope combined both challenges into one extra silly adventure. Without any hesitation, Muffin proudly accepted the homework and saluted like a true hero. Pickles blew his whistle once again, signaling that the first challenge was about to begin. Taking a deep breath, Muffin lifted one careful paw and stepped toward his very first test. Muffin carefully placed his first paw on the wooden floor, determined to complete the homework challenge. Squeak! The noisy floorboards surprised Muffin so much that he nearly lost his balance. Nibble smiled quietly, watching every careful step with cheerful confidence. Pickles happily blew his whistle, making the funny challenge feel like a real championship. Otto calmly added 1 squeaky point to the scoreboard with a gentle smile. Muffin took another slow and careful step, hoping this floorboard would stay quiet. Squeak! Another loud sound echoed through the kitchen, making everyone giggle once again. Pickles excitedly celebrated another squeaky step as though it were an amazing sports record. Now it was time for Muffin to balance a delicious cookie on top of his head. The cookie wobbled from side to side while Muffin tried to stay perfectly still. Slowly, the cookie slid down until it rested right on the tip of his nose. Without moving a whisker, Muffin balanced the cookie perfectly, surprising all of his friends. Pickles laughed so hard that he almost dropped his little silver whistle. Otto rewarded Muffin with extra points for trying his very best. With careful little steps, Muffin continued walking while balancing the cookie like a true performer. Suddenly, the cookie bounced high into the air, sending every eye toward the ceiling. To everyone's surprise, the cookie landed neatly back on Muffin's head. The kitchen filled with cheerful applause as everyone celebrated the lucky save. Nibble smiled and revealed the final part of today's funny homework assignment. Muffin now had to balance the cookie while crossing the squeaky floor at the same time. Taking a deep breath, Muffin carefully started the biggest challenge of the day. Squeak! One noisy floorboard almost made the cookie tumble to the ground. The cookie bounced a little, but somehow stayed balanced, making Muffin grin with relief. Pickles proudly held up a perfect scorecard as though judging a grand talent show. Otto gave a warm thumbs up, impressed by Muffin's determination and careful balance. Step by step, Muffin finally reached the finish line without dropping the cookie. The four friends cheered together, celebrating Muffin's biggest success of the morning. Muffin bowed proudly, enjoying every second of his well-earned applause. But clever little Nibble quietly reached for a mysterious rolled-up blueprint with a playful smile. As the blueprint unfolded, everyone discovered the next adventure, the exciting silent obstacle course. Nibble quickly transformed the kitchen into a colorful obstacle course filled with funny surprises. Muffin carefully studied every obstacle, determined to complete the challenge without making a sound. Pickles cheerfully explained the rules while proudly blowing his tiny silver whistle. Otto waved the referee flag, and the silent challenge officially began. Muffin slowly ducked beneath the colorful balloons, taking careful, quiet little steps. He made it through the first obstacle perfectly and smiled with growing confidence. But his fluffy tail had one surprise left as it swished happily behind him. Pop, pop, pop! Every balloon burst, filling the kitchen with funny sounds and laughter. Pickles laughed so hard that he almost forgot he was the referee. Otto quietly updated the scoreboard with another hilarious result for everyone to enjoy. Now, Muffin faced a wobbly bridge made entirely from colorful toy blocks. He tiptoed carefully across the blocks, balancing better than ever before. Just then, a tiny tickle made Muffin's whiskers begin to twitch. He squeezed his nose tightly, trying with all his might not to sneeze. A great big achoo echoed through the room before he could stop it. The toy blocks tumbled everywhere, but Muffin landed safely on a soft, fluffy pillow. Otto calmly called it a tiny earthquake, and everyone burst into laughter. The four friends laughed together, turning another little accident into a happy memory. Nibble smiled and presented the final obstacle, a single light floating feather. Muffin carefully balanced the feather on his head and began walking with tiny steps. The feather stayed perfectly balanced, and Muffin couldn't believe his amazing progress. Feeling proud, Muffin couldn't resist celebrating just a little too early. The feather gently floated into the air, dancing gracefully above everyone's heads. It drifted down and landed perfectly on Pickles' head like a fancy hairstyle. Pickles struck funny poses, pretending to be the biggest movie star in town. Nibble clapped happily while everyone enjoyed Pickles' silly performance. Muffin laughed so hard that happy tears filled his bright blue eyes. Otto proudly announced that the silent obstacle course had finally come to an end. With a mysterious smile, Nibble rolled a giant colorful challenge wheel into the room. The four friends gathered around the sparkling wheel, excited to discover the next hilarious game. Everyone gathered around the giant, colorful challenge wheel, eager for the next silly adventure. Bright pictures covered the wheel, each hiding a funny surprise waiting to be discovered. Nibble gave the wheel a mighty spin, and it whirled around faster and faster. 4 pairs of excited eyes followed the spinning pointer without blinking for a second. The wheel finally stopped on a challenge called Walk Like a Penguin. Muffin tucked in his paws and began waddling with tiny, funny little steps. Nibble joined in with adorable waddles that made everyone smile even bigger. Pickles exaggerated every step, turning his penguin walk into a hilarious performance. Otto waddled slowly and steadily, making the others giggle with every careful step. Together, the 4 friends waddled across the kitchen like a cheerful penguin parade. Nibble spun the colorful wheel once again for another exciting surprise. This time, the wheel landed on a very unusual challenge. Only animal sounds allowed. Muffin answered every question with happy little meows and dramatic gestures. Nibble replied, using tiny squeaks that only another mouse could understand. Pickles quacked proudly, flapping his wings like the star of a comedy show. Otto made soft little turtle sounds that left everyone completely puzzled. Before long, nobody understood anybody, and the room filled with confused faces. The confusion quickly turned into joyful laughter that echoed through the cozy kitchen. With another cheerful smile, Nibble spun the challenge wheel one more time. The pointer stopped on the funniest challenge yet: freeze like a statue. Everyone became perfectly still as a tiny butterfly fluttered gently through the room. The little butterfly softly landed right on the tip of Muffin's nose. Muffin's whiskers twitched, but he tried his hardest not to move at all. Nibble silently counted the seconds, hoping Muffin could stay perfectly frozen. Muffin puffed his cheeks and held his breath with all his determination. But suddenly, a gigantic sneeze sent the butterfly fluttering safely back into the air. Pickles laughed so hard that he nearly toppled over onto the kitchen floor. Otto smiled and declared that everyone had lost the challenge together. The four friends laughed until happy tears rolled down their smiling faces. Then Nibble quietly placed a mysterious golden envelope on the table, hiding one final surprise. With a mysterious smile, Nibble slowly opened the shiny golden envelope for the final challenge. Inside was one last surprise, the exciting backward race that would decide the day's champion. Otto carefully drew the starting line, making sure the race would be fair for everyone. Pickles raised his whistle high and signaled that the final race had officially begun. The four friends carefully began walking backward, trying not to peek behind them. Muffin bumped into a soft pillow and bounced forward with a surprised little grin. Pickles backed into a laundry basket and disappeared, leaving only his beak and feet showing. Nibble gently bumped into Otto's sturdy shell and spun around like a tiny top. Next, Muffin slowly backed into Otto, who stayed perfectly calm and steady. Then Pickles waddled backward into Otto too, but the gentle turtle never moved an inch. Everyone suddenly realized Otto had stayed exactly where he started the whole time. With cheerful applause, the friends proudly declared Otto the unexpected winner of the race. Muffin carefully placed a shiny paper crown on Otto's head to celebrate the big victory. But the oversized crown slipped down and covered Otto's eyes completely. Unable to see, Otto waddled into a soft cushion and bounced back with a happy smile. The four friends laughed together as they gently straightened Otto's funny paper crown. Muffin thanked Nibble for creating the funniest homework challenges anyone could imagine. The friends realized that laughing together was far more important than winning any game. Together, they proudly hung a colorful banner that read, "Best Friends Forever." Fresh cookies, happy smiles, and joyful laughter filled the cozy kitchen as the celebration began. Pickles happily waved goodbye and wondered which silly challenge everyone enjoyed the most. Thanks for joining today's adventure. We'll see you next time for even more laughs and fun.